Okay, this is a quick pack dump, everything that I'm going to be taking on a typical 2-day, 2-night excursion in the backcountry, focused on hunting. So you see down below here, we've got the big items. We've got the rifle, spotting scope, tripod, which is also the legs for my tent poles. The legs are also the tent poles for my tent or my tarp system. A rest for my binoculars. Worn on my person from my boots up. I have my boots. I've got knee pads, gaiters, some thin gloves, a mesh top. This is a Brinia mesh top. A thin base layer. I've added a hood to it. Belt, beanie hat. 2 pairs of socks, double up the socks. Thin nylon, water resistant, lightweight pants. These are about 9.5 ounces. They're from GoRuck. They're Challenger pants. That's what's worn on my person. Also worn would be my chest pack, which it's going to have my phone, which is taking the video at the moment. Phone would be in that slot. Walkie-talkie if I'm with a partner and I need to communicate. Got a headlamp, my Havalon knife. I've got my satellite communication device, the InReach. I've got a wind checker. I've got spare blades for my Havalon knife. I've got a lighter. Back in there I've got my tags. Pistol, 9mm in this case. I have a watch mounted at the top so I can just look down and see the time and the date if necessary. Binoculars, rangefinder. And that's everything. The pistol also has a light and a laser on it for convenience. Thermal imaging device with spare batteries. And that is more or less what is worn. Then going into what is in the pack, I'm going to start with the clothing items that also may be worn depending on how cold it is. These would be my active layers. This is a thin air mesh, what they call it, for Mountain Hardware. That would be worn underneath this base layer on top of the mesh. Then I have another thin fleece if it's still cold enough for that. These are both a fleece type, so even when wet, there's still going to be some amount of insulation. I call them active insulation. This one is a hoodie type that can be zippered. It's got a full zip so it can go over or under. So I still would probably prefer to put it underneath that base layer. And then I have what I'm going to call a shell layer. Not waterproof, but reasonably windproof. Made this one out of a shirt, just added a zipper to it. But it's a pretty thick, not heavy, but the whole garment is only about 8 ounces, but it's a more durable nylon type of material, so I can put my puffies under that and they'd be protected. Now moving into my static layers, I have a puffy jacket, no hood, and a puffy vest. Both are an 850 down fill, very lightweight. If it's cold enough, I can throw on these are just polypro bottoms that I cut off and turn into shorts. And they can be pulled over the top, right over the top of pants. I've got just what would be considered pajama bottoms, which also could be pulled over the top of pants or worn independently as a second pair of pants if those were wet or somehow inoperable. I'm going to be carrying in the pack a second pair of socks that I can rotate out with the socks that I wear for the first day. I can put on dry socks to sleep in and then have dry socks for the next day if I have a means to dry out the other pair of socks. Then for sleeping in, I have a really lightweight fleece beanie. And I've got a top and a bottom, again, of a very thin fleece. This is the Peloton 97 from Kuyu. Full zip bottoms. They're not full length, but they go to essentially where my socks would make up the difference for my lower legs. Moving on to rain gear. I'm going to have a waterproof jacket. Now this is waterproof breathable, so not true waterproof. It will eventually wet through like many do, but most rain conditions it'll suffice. It'll also provide an outer shell for all of my active layers, and we'll go over all of these puffy layers as well. So if it's really, really cold, I can just start layering up everything, and all together it's going to get me down into the, you know, the sub-zero temperatures if necessary. Full zip rain pants. These are only about 10 ounces. A rain kilt. Now this is a multi-purpose item. It also is a small tarp that I can pull out of my pocket and just throw on the ground to put things on to keep things clean if I'm trying to organize out of my pack. It's, as specified, an actual kilt, if you will. I can put this on and I can hike in it. It keeps my legs from my my knee pads up. We're going to be dry if I'm walking through really wet brush. It can be a real game changer. Really lightweight, very versatile. You don't get real sweaty under it. I would put it over the top of the rain pants if necessary, as your thighs tend to wet out the most. If it's really rainy, as your legs are, you're lifting up your legs and they're getting wet. Then I've got a cover for the rifle, sil nylon also. This is sil nylon, by the way, and a sil poly poncho. This poncho goes over my full pack and does zipper closed for convenience. It'll also go over the rifle as well. Rifle down there. Just some rubber gloves, which can be used part of my kill kit, but also could wear those in the rain to keep my hands dry. It's a two-edged sword. You don't want your hands to get too hot and sweaty either, but if it's really pouring rain, you'd be a little bit more comfortable with those. This here is going to be the sling and the pad. This is a sit pad, but it's also the sling that holds my rifle, or the carry case that mounts to my pack for my rifle. I've got my sleep system. This is 4.5 pounds, almost on the nose, including pad, pillow. So it's insulated thermarest. In this case, it's the warmer, wider pad, the new NXT. It's got a bivy sack layer, which is synthetic insulation, apex, 1/2 ounce apex, 5 ounce apex, not 1/2 ounce apex, and then a down quilt, an 850 down quilt from Enlightened Equipment inside that. So this would be a true wintertime capable sleep system, complete at under 5 pounds, 4.5 pounds, everything included, including the bivy itself, which is water resistant. You could sleep out in even a light rain just in that alone if needed. But I will couple that and carry a tarp system. This is an 8x10 DCF tarp, a few tent stakes, some extra guy line. Guy line's already attached to the tarp, 6 tent stakes, water filtration system. In this case, it's the Survivor Pro filter. It's a smaller one. Does claim to get down to the virus level. Very small, compact, a little bit higher flow than something than other compact water filters that I've used. And it could be frozen. It doesn't ruin it to get frozen in colder temperatures. Okay, one thing I missed with my clothing is I do keep it in a more durable bag that I can also use as a rest under my arm if necessary for getting set up for a shooting position, or if I need to take a nap on the hill, I can unfold this into a little bit of sleeping pad, or a sleeping pad underneath my sleeping pad for protection there. Spare pair of underwear. And it holds all my extra clothes in this little bag, kind of keeps it all nice and contained. Okay, I've got, in an outer pocket, I've got my paper towels for toilet paper. I've got a kill kit. Kill kit's going to be dependent on conditions, but in this case, I'm going to have some neoprene gloves. These are glacier gloves. They're pretty waterproof, quite warm, so I can still have the tactile capabilities I need, you know, but my hands not get too cold. I've got two Argali style lightweight game bags if I need to hang some meat. The idea here is, my intent would be to have game bags to hang half the meat, and the other half would go down the hill with me for something like a bear hunt. And for what's going in my pack, for just a short trip back to the cooler, or a long trip if it may be, whatever it takes. I've got some garbage bags to keep my bag clean and keep the meat clean until I can get it to the cooler. So a few extra paper towels to kind of keep things clean in the cleaning process. I've got a fire starter. I've got a hand warmer if necessary. I've got spare blades for my Havalon knife, the Havalon blade opener. Lighter, some spare duct tape, a few other glove options to keep things clean, some arm length birthing gloves like a vet might use, a few Ziploc bags, keep the meat clean. Okay, then I've got the top to my pack, which I usually don't keep on at any, you know, at all times, just because it's easier to get in and out to get my layers as I stop and go as I'm hiking around. But this will hold everything that I can't fit in the outer pockets, which leaves the main tube for just my sleep system and some meat, or my sleep system can get actually mounted under this on top with the straps, and then I'll have the entire internal compartment just to haul meat, like a quarter of a deer or whatever it needs to be. Okay, so where am I at? Okay, so food and water. I'm going to have 4 16, 17 ounce waters. This Heart water bottle is reusable. It's aluminum, and I use it as my cooker if I need to heat water over a fire. I've got 2 preset, pre-weighed daily meal allotments. I run for somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500 calories in a day, assuming I've left the vehicle with already having had breakfast on the first day, and I'm planning on being back for a dinner on the second or third, or if that's the following morning of the third day. So 2,210 calories, 24.5 ounces, 2,230 calories, and 26 ounces. I have a fairly good assortment of calories, good calories, carbs, vitamins, minerals, nuts, you know, there's tuna fish packets, just a fairly good assortment of calories that I know I can keep going through the day with that, and not pack too much extra on the hill. Then my ditty bag. Now this, probably will do a separate video of specifics in this, but the main things, I'm going to have spare battery capacity, portable charger that I can top off my all of my devices, and I carry, you know, cords accordingly, so I can charge my inReach if necessary. I can charge my phone. I can charge my walkie-talkie. I'm going to have spare batteries for things like my light, my headlamp, which also, by the way, will mount on my little hat. Got little tabs on the back of it, so it's my light holder. So if I need it in headlamp mode, it's going to have my medicines, first aid items. It's going to have repair kit items. Cleaning wipes for lenses, multi-tool tweezers for ticks, spare cordage, whatever you think might be necessary if something. Usually this is more for like the emergency purposes, but some of this stuff is stuff that I'm going to use regularly. The chapstick, toothbrush, things to keep the hygiene where it needs to be on the hill. Some spare water purification tablets, another hand warmer, toe warmer, some blood stop or bleed stop, spare batteries, like I said, for my flashlights. What else? I've got a rag if I need to wipe things down. Sometimes the tent, inside the tent gets really damp, and having something like that can be really useful. Spare battery for the rangefinder. Excuse me. So an assortment of items I call it the ditty bag. It's the bag of all the little things that I may or may not need to, if I'm in either survival mode or just being comfortable throughout a hike or a hunt. So other than that, obviously you've got the main pack. This is a Kuyu, the Pro 7000 LT, fairly lightweight for the volume. Big enough I can haul all of this and still have the extra capacity to haul meat or hide or whatever it is down the hill as necessary. Rifle suppressed. Got the tripod that integrates with this tripod. It's folding stock, so you go very compact. 5-pound package there. I do carry the extra ammunition and a few extra odds and ends, like a big contractor's garbage bag inside my pack to keep things dry if it's really wet. I keep a small gun rest in the top of the pack or in an outer pocket so that I can get set up really, really stable in a prone position. Other than that, I think that is going to more or less cover it. Everything. One extra spare garbage bag I keep handy on the outer pocket just in case I have things that might get wet. If I'm in and out of the pack a lot, I can have something just to grab and throw stuff in. So, any questions? Put them in the comments below.